All right, let us begin. This is the first video of this channel. Might not even go anywhere. We'll see how everyone likes it. Today we're going to be covering The Feeling is a Secret, and in a lot of detail. I don't know how long this video is going to last. Okay, so what this video is, like I said, we're going to cover The Feeling is a Secret very exhaustively, but from a beginner's point of view. Okay, I've only known about Neville Goddard for a few months, so I'm kind of learning along and taking everybody along for the ride. So just watch this video and what I say through that lens of I'm learning. Great. So yeah, and if anybody wants to comment or post a video response or somehow interact with me, this is just, we all learn by commenting and stuff like that and interacting. The reason why I'm doing this video is because, like I said, I'm learning along, and teaching things helps to learn. So there's a little bit of a selfish reason, but I just figure this is a good use of my time and resources. Okay, about the book and the commentary, or the topic, I guess, not the commentary. So it's kind of hard to quantify consciousness. You can't measure it. So a lot of the arguments that I have noticed in the book are logic-based, and those are the kind of conclusions that I draw. So it's going to be a lot of, well, A equals B, so B must equal, and if A equals C, then C equals A. So kind of like that. Yeah, this is going to be a long, kind of a lecture format video. So if you can just Google search The Feeling is a Secret and follow along, you will get the most out of this video. But you can also watch and listen. So you live your life. Okay, a couple disclaimers, because I want to do this kind of thing for a long time, and I want to get some topics out of the way. So yes, I'm a beginner, and some of the things I say will sound a little, weird and irreverent. So just be ready for that. You might think it's funny, you might think it's not. If I'm offensive, then just let me know. I'll dial it back. Yeah, so it is this video, this whole, I'm picturing this whole channel to be an objective, skeptical look at Neville Goddard and maybe some other works that I find interesting or useful to spread out to the masses. I won't be afraid to point out where something is unclear, or where I found, I think there was like one or two contradictions that I noticed in my limited scope and experience of Neville Goddard and metaphysics and stuff. And yeah, so that will, like I said, I'm learning, so just keep that in mind as well, that there might be unknown terms and things that I don't know. Okay, so yeah, if you comment, or if you have if I missed something, or if you want to contribute to this video with a comment, please use sources. Don't waste anybody's time. And about the Bible verses, I'm probably going to, I'm picturing like learning, Greek or Latin or whatever the heck the original language of the Bible was, because I know that the definition or the meaning of the Bible may have been watered down and changed. So I may, that's going to be like a huge investment. So I may not, but there will be some preliminary commentary on Bible verses from what I've seen because he quotes specific Bible verses, but the context may contradict in my mind what he says. I'll go into this later. And yeah, it was one of the first books that he's written. It was really good, I think. Very easy to follow. I say that now, but easier to follow. Kind of straightforward. The book's like 50 pages long. And so if I already beat this dead horse. Yeah, be nice, guys. We're all learning here. About the 1944 thing. So the viewpoints that he presents in The Feeling is a Secret might appear to change, but that's I think normal for anyone who's on a particular path of learning. They're gonna learn different things and have different viewpoints, or their viewpoints will evolve and stuff like that. So, okay. Yeah. Without further ado, we're starting on the forward. I'm just going to open up this book on the side here. So it starts with the forward. It's basically saying that it's a straightforward book. Not slight, but small. And he's not going to do any stories this time. I don't know if he does it in his later books. Anyway. So, yeah, it's just the facts. And he challenges the open-minded reader to practice the law of consciousness. And yeah, so. Okay, chapter 1, the law and its operation. So, the very first sentence that he writes here is, the world and all within it is man's conditioned consciousness objectified. So, if we just stop here and try to understand those without any context, it's tough. So, the things that we don't know right now are conditioned consciousness, like the definitions of conditioned consciousness and objectified. He goes into objectified a lot later in the book, which is great. Conditioned consciousness, I am not sure that he does, but that's what we don't know. That's what we want to find out. Okay, and then he talks about law of consciousness. Okay, it's important, cool. And okay, he clarifies that reality can be divided into two streams. Conscious consciousness, because reality is consciousness right here. And anyway, so consciousness, or conscious reality, conscious consciousness, and unconscious consciousness. So the qualities of the conscious consciousness are that it's personal and selective, it's the realm of effect, and it's the male form. We'll go into that in a little bit. And it generates the ideas and impresses them on the subconscious. And these subconscious qualities are, it's impersonal and non-selective, it's a realm of cause, and it's the female part, just the counterpart to the conscious. So it receives ideas and gives form to them like little children. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so law of consciousness. I'm going to skip down here because it's not really clear. See, he references the law of consciousness. He doesn't really say what it is until later on. But right now, let's see, where does he say the law of consciousness? Okay, the law right here. First conceiving an idea and then impressing the idea conceived on the subconscious. Right here. This is the law of consciousness. There's my cool pen. Of reality being made up of the subconscious and the conscious. This is just important to know. The law of consciousness. First conceiving an idea and then impressing the idea on the subconscious. Okay, we'll go back to that in a little bit. Okay, and then we continue on by saying that the subconscious does not originate ideas but accept as true that which the conscious mind feels to be true. And in a way known only to itself, it objectifies the accepted ideas. So there's the word objectifies. First time that it's seen, or that it's mentioned from the introduction. Okay, so breaking this down here. Yeah, we're actually going to skip a couple paragraphs to talk about how the subconscious relates to the conscious mind. By the way, I want to point out here that he mentioned he paired the word mind with conscious, but he never paired the word mind with subconscious, which I thought was interesting. So I wonder what he thinks right now, 1944 Neville, the subconscious is made of. I don't think we answer that, but that's just something to wonder about here. Okay, so we are skipping a couple of paragraphs down, and we are going to, where are we? Narrow description of, yeah, the relationship or how ideas are impressed on the subconscious. Okay, so here we go. No idea can be impressed on the subconscious until it is felt. Once it's felt, it must be impressed. So let's take a break here. No idea can be impressed on the subconscious until it is felt. Okay, so this is a fairly restrictive definition or exposition on how ideas can be impressed on the subconscious and what is impressed on the subconscious and then what happens afterward, because it has to be expressed. So he's saying that there's no way the subconscious can be impressed until the feeling comes into play here. It says, let me just mark it over here. Where is it? All right. No idea. No idea can be impressed on the subconscious until it is felt. And all feelings paired with ideas must be impressed, okay? It must be expressed. It's very clear here. Must. So, yeah. So this is paired here until it is felt. An idea, first pairing idea here, impressed on the subconscious until it is felt. And once it's felt, okay, so these go all the way back with idea. All right, these two things, or the feeling paired with the ideas. Okay, yeah. And then he goes on to say that feeling is the one and only medium through which ideas are conveyed to the subconscious. Now, I want to just take a second here and say that this is very restrictive. Again, he's being restrictive here. Feeling is the one and only medium through which ideas are conveyed to the subconscious. Okay, feeling. Now, we haven't defined feeling yet, but this is interesting and something to keep in mind here. Feeling is the one and only medium. All right. Okay, next we have, what are we talking about here? Through his power to imagine and feel. Okay. All right, so we're going, I think we're going back here. Where are we? So we're going back up. Okay, so we talked about the law. I thought it was easier to understand taking it out of the order that he wrote the book in. So we're talking about a new idea here. So before we talked about the play between feeling and ideas and the subconscious and the conscience, and now we're talking about, Neville's introducing some new ideas here. So I'm just going to break down this sentence here. Through his power to imagine. All right, so we're talking about first power. Through the power to imagine and feel, okay? The power here has something to do with imagining. Okay, we're having the power to imagine and feel. Okay, those two things. And then he also introduces freedom. So the power to imagine and feel and the freedom to choose the idea that he will entertain. He has control over creation. Whoa, first time. Yeah, crazy. But anyway, so these two things, power and freedom. Through those two things, power and freedom, he has control over creation. Okay, moving on. The next sentence that we're going to look at is control of the subconscious is accomplished through, control of the subconscious is accomplished through control of your ideas and feelings. All right. So this is the ending sentence of this paragraph here that we were talking about, where he talked about how to control creation. Control creation through control of your ideas and feelings. And we'll go into that. No, here, not yet. All right. Mechanism of creation is hidden in the very depth of the subconscious. All right. Now he describes the subconscious here transcends reason, which is what we're trying to do right now, I guess. I don't know why he says that. And it says it's independent of induction. I didn't know what he meant. Maybe they had a different definition for induction, 60 years ago, 80 years ago. But the last definition that I found on Google is the act of causing or bringing on. So, to reword this sentence here, the subconscious transcends reason and is independent of bringing on. It is without cause. It is, okay, without beginning. So that's a possibility. And then he says this other feeling here. It contemplates a feeling as a fact within itself. Exactly right after. And then proceeds to give expression to it. Okay, so, and then, I think this is the first time that he talked about this, but he contemplates the feeling as a fact. Okay? And existing within itself. So, the subconscious, he's saying the subconscious contemplates a feeling as a fact existing within itself. He doesn't say anything about that, but I thought it was interesting that the subconscious appropriates a feeling from the conscious, if I'm understanding this correctly. Okay, the creative process begins with an idea and cycle runs its course and feelings. So I don't know what this means, but the creative process begins. This is the ending sentence that he ends with this paragraph here. The creative process begins with an idea and its cycle runs through. So the cycle of the creative process runs its course as a feeling. He might be saying here that the creative process starts as an idea and then it automatically turns into a feeling and ends in a way to act. I don't know. I don't know, but that's another mystery here. Okay, next one is introducing states. Okay, so this is something he'll go into later on, which is pretty cool. But for now, he kind of leaves it nebulous. He says, therefore, the man who does not control his feeling may easily impress the subconscious with undesirable states. And so he's talking about controlling feeling here, and then he defines it later on, I think. So he says control of feeling is not meant restraint or suppression of your feeling, but rather disciplining of self to imagine and entertain only such feeling as contributes to your happiness. Okay, this is important. Only such feeling as contributes to happiness. All right. So, again, it's not restraining or suppressing your feeling, and we'll go into how exactly you're supposed to deal with, or Neville goes into how you're supposed to deal with negative emotions later on. But yeah, those two things is imagining, makes up discipline of self, which is control of feeling. Imagining and entertaining only happy thoughts. Think happy thoughts. All right. So, okay. Never, I think we're up here. Oh, yeah, he says a bunch of commands here. So because of this main idea, control of feeling, yeah, okay. This contributes to your happiness, and then control of feeling is all important to a full and happy life. Because of that, never entertain undesirable feeling or think sympathetically about any wrong, and do not dwell on the imperfection of yourself or others. So, I thought this was a contradiction earlier, but it's not quite. It's a new idea, because earlier he talked about the subconscious being impressed by the subconscious through the medium of feelings, okay? Oh, you know what, actually? Let's go back. Feeling is the one and only medium. I think he said that feeling is the one and only medium. Yeah, okay. So maybe it was a contradiction. All right, well, now we know. So this is actually a contradiction here. You can also impress the subconscious, according to Neville Goddard, through limitations of these three things. Whatever, he's human. Okay, he goes on to say that dwelling, thinking, and entertaining bad thoughts, okay, limitations, all right. Okay, what you do not want done to you. Do not feel. Okay, so he's incorporating feeling again. That is the whole law to a full and happy life. Everything else is commentary. That's a pretty strong statement here. Everything else is commentary. Basically, do no evil. But again, this is 1944 Neville, and he's just a human. So, yeah, but take that as you will. I just want to draw attention to that. Okay, next we have, every feeling makes a subconscious impression, and unless it is counteracted by a more powerful feeling of an opposite nature must be expressed. Okay, so before we were talking about or Neville was talking about how powerful feelings are and how they can control creation and stuff like that, and that can be scary to think about, because what if you feel, that you want to kill somebody all of a sudden? Well, it's easy. You just counteract that feeling with a more powerful feeling. And then, well, what defines more powerful feeling? He goes on later. So he says here, I am healthy is a stronger feeling than I will be healthy, because to feel I will be healthy is to confess that you are not at the present healthy. So the present tense is the stronger feeling, at least in regards to, or in comparison to, I will be. Okay. Okay, cool. But it's important to keep in mind here. Stronger feelings, the stronger feelings of present, of I am, is a stronger feeling. Okay. Okay, to be realized, the wish must be felt as a state that is, rather than a state that is not. All right. Okay, now he's introducing wishes. So it's not desires. It's not like it's an actual wish. Okay, we're done talking about that. Okay, next in the next paragraph is introducing sensation. Now he says that sensation precedes manifestation and is the foundation upon which all manifestation rests. Okay, so just take a moment to let that sink in. It precedes manifestation and is the foundation upon which all manifestation rests. You'd think after such a great introduction, he'd go into sensation more, but he doesn't. Not, easy. It's not. He doesn't easily go into it. He says this next sentence, which is, "Be careful of your moods and feelings, for there is an unbroken connection between your feelings and your visible world." He doesn't say anything about sensation at all. He just talks about moods and feelings all of a sudden. Great. Anyway, so it is what it is. He introduces the idea of there being an unbroken connection between the feelings and your visible world. So somebody might read this sentence and think, well, he's talking about moods and feelings here. And say if there's an unbroken connection between the feelings and the visible world, and if sensation precedes manifestation, and manifestation, what is manifestation? Maybe it's the physical world. So sensation equals moods and feelings. I don't know. That this is iffy, at least in my point of view. Okay, so I went and got a Google definition of sensation. So you can say the Google definition of sensation is a physical feeling or perception resulting from something that happens to or comes in contact with the body. Okay, so you can, if you use the word here, perception, if I tell you right now to smell an apple pie, you will be able to smell it because it's stored in your brain without you actually having an apple pie in front of you. So that is something that you can do. It doesn't have to come into contact with the body per se, because the brain is a powerful organ and has a lot of memories. Okay, Okay, and then he says, your body's an emotional filter. Oh yeah, a bunch of claims here. Your body's an emotional filter and bears the unmistakable marks of your prevalent emotions. Another claim is emotional disturbances, and these are all one by one. Especially suppressed emotions are the causes of all disease. To feel intensely about a wrong without voicing or expressing that feeling. Okay, here we go. Here we talk about feeling intensely about a wrong without voicing or expressing that feeling, and that's the beginning of disease in both the body and environment. I think, is that the last claim? I think he has one more. Nope. Right? Yeah. Okay. So those three claims here. So to feel intensely about a wrong. I want to. These he doesn't talk about these at all. I don't know why he's talking about these. Talk about these two claims. Maybe to draw attention to emotional disturbances, or the importance of your emotions and how they affect the body and stuff like that. Okay, so right here, to feel intensely about a wrong without voicing or expressing, this is important, that feeling, okay? It's okay to voice and express the feeling, okay? But if we go back to this slide, okay, yeah. Entertain such feelings as contributes to your happiness. So it's okay to like take a purge and really think, okay, I'm present with my anger, okay, and then you just let it go, or something like that. I'm not going to talk about mindfulness here. This video is already 30 minutes long now. Jesus. All right. Okay, so we are going on to if you have any comments or stuff like that on this, I would love to hear about anything that I talk about actually in this video. Okay, we are moving on. Oh yeah, a command here. Okay, so because of these claims, the emotional disturbances and how it affects the body and environment and stuff like that, he says a command: do not entertain the feeling of regret or failure for frustration or detachment from your objective result in disease. This is an interesting sentence. There's a conjunction here. This first idea is do not entertain the feeling of regret or failure. Okay, it's the first one. And then this leads to the for. The for is the conjunction, like I said here. For, these are two separate ideas, okay? Two independent clauses. Do not entertain the feeling of regret or failure for frustration or detachment from your objective results in disease. We already talked about disease, or he already talked about disease in the claims here. So, but the interplay between these two is frustration or detachment from your objective results in disease. Okay, so you can't even be frustrated or detached from your objective, or else it will result in disease. And feeling frustrated or detachment from your, actually not feeling, sorry, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but frustration or detachment from the objective is the same thing as feeling regret or failure. Okay, so I guess I kind of was right here. Feeling can be tied in with frustration or detachment. Okay, so I just take a few seconds. You can pause the video and look at those two things. That is what I understood this one sentence to mean, that those two are the same thing. Don't entertain the feeling of regret or failure for frustration or detachment from your objective results in disease. Again, I'd love to hear your comments. Okay, I think feeling only the state you desire to realize. Okay, he's talking about states again. And this is the first sentence of this paragraph right here. What else are we talking about here? Feeling the reality of the state sought, and living and acting on that conviction is the way of all seeming miracles. All right, so let's talk about this for a little bit. So he introduces the paragraph with, think feelingly only of the state you desire to realize. If you feel the reality of the state sought, and you live and act on that conviction, that's the way to all seeming miracles. This is the first time that he talks about, or he introduces the term miracles. Okay, now the way to accomplish these miracles, or I guess the way that they will occur, is for you to, one, feel the reality of the state sought, and then you live it, and you also act on it. You act on that conviction. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Feel, live it, act on it. That's the way of all seeming miracles. Okay, number 2 is all changes of expression are brought about through a change of feeling. I don't think he goes into this here. Yeah, it's just another claim. A change of feeling is a change of destiny. I don't know what that means. All creation occurs in the domain of the subconscious. All right, so yeah, this has been established already. The definition, or one of the definitions of the subconscious, was that it is the realm of cause, whereas the subconscious is the realm of the effect. So that it lines up here. All creation occurs in the domain of the subconscious. Okay, moving on. What you must acquire then is a reflective control of the operations of the subconscious. Okay, so because all creation occurs in the domain of the subconscious, you have to control the subconscious. And you do that through control of the ideas and feelings. This is the male perspective, or the male characteristic of the conscious, impressing the subconscious through ideas and feelings. Okay, yeah. Oops, I want to make sure that we are not... Where are we at here? Chain of destiny, okay. Yeah, all right. Okay. Chance, fate, accidents don't determine what happens to you. Your subconscious does all that. That was, yeah. Okay, and then he talks about some Bible verses. Okay, oh yeah, this is going with the feeling of favoritism. He talks about in Acts and Romans here in these passages that the subconscious is no respecter of persons. So in linking, in case this wasn't clear, Neville says here the subconscious is not selective, it is impersonal and no respecter of persons. And then he references Bible verses that don't say subconscious. It says God is impersonal and doesn't respect persons or something like that. But he links it in here in saying that the subconscious is not selective. He's linking the subconscious and God. Okay, that's important to establish right here. Okay, let's see, what are we at here? It accepts what is true, what you feel to be true. That's in line with what we've already said here, but this is the first time that he says you. You as actually the reader. And he is separating. I want you to know, dear listener, that he's... Oh, that was so cheesy. Sorry, guys. He's separating you and the subconscious. Okay, those are two different things. The subconscious accepts as true that which you, as the originator of ideas, feel to be true. We'll go into that a little bit later. Feeling is the assent of the subconscious to the truth of that which is declared to be true. That's the main idea, or the next main sentence that we'll go over here. Feeling is assent. Okay, great. So, feeling, let me just reword this sentence here. Feeling is the assent of the subconscious to the truth of that which is declared to be true. So, rephrased, feeling is the agreement of the subconscious to the truth of the truth. Okay? If that was a little hard to follow along, it's because that's what he's saying. Feeling, but it's important to know that this is what he defines feeling as. The agreement of the subconscious to the truth of that which is declared to be true. Who is declaring what to be true? He doesn't say here, but that's what he defines feeling as, okay? And then he says that, so this is important here. This is why, or he defines feeling here. It's not like anger or sadness or something like that. It's just the agreement of the subconscious to the truth of the truth of that which is declared to be true. So first you have to declare it to be true, and then the subconscious, after the subconscious agrees to the truth, then that's feeling. Okay? Again, this is my interpretation of what this sentence means. I would love to hear your thoughts. All right. We are, okay, feelings create patterns. All right, so I think this is the last sentence of this last paragraph here. Your feelings create the pattern from which your world is fashioned. And a change of feeling is a change of pattern. I'm going to go ahead and disagree or offer another viewpoint here. Because in my opinion, feelings, actually, let me hold on here. So you have the world here. or your perception of the world. All right? Actions affect the world around you. But what affects actions are emotions. And what affects emotions are identity. For example, you believe yourself to be, I don't know, bad at math or something. You're gonna feel bad whenever you get to math class. And that will affect, in my opinion, your performance in math. If you change your identity to be good at math, for example, if you tell a kid that he's really smart or something in math, guess what? They'll usually be better at math in my experience. Let's see, there's a really good book called Psycho-Cybernetics. Sorry about my handwriting. Cybernetics. Written in the 70s, really helpful, I think anyway. Okay, so that I just wanted to offer a different viewpoint on this sentence here. Your feelings create the pattern from which your world is fashioned, and a change of feeling is a change of pattern. I agree, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. I think this is important to know. Okay, all right. Accepts the feelings. What are we talking about here? Subconscious. Okay, the subconscious never fails to express that which has been impressed on it. Okay, so this is in line with what he said before. Great. Okay, so it affects the feeling impressed on it as a fact existing within itself. I think, yeah, okay. Now, right here, as a fact existing within itself. Where did we see that? Aha. Exactly, word for word. It contemplates a feeling as a fact existing within itself. So, again, referencing the text here, the subconscious accepts the feeling impressed upon it. Your feeling. So subconscious accepts your feeling as a fact existing within itself. Maybe this means that the subconscious is the whole world. I don't know. But it accepts it within itself and immediately sets out to produce in the outer or objective world, the exact likeness of that feeling. All right. So again, to go here, the mechanism of creation is hidden in the very depth of the subconscious. The subconscious transcends reason and independence. Okay. Contemplates feeling. Okay, so that's just a fact to remember about the subconscious, that it recognizes as true the feeling which is impressed upon it by the conscious. All right. Okay, and then he gives some tips here about how to get what you want. So he talks about states here. Where are we at? You must be concerned. All right. Impress the subconscious with a desirable state. You must assume the feeling that would be yours had you already realized your wish. Okay, we will go into this exactly later on. He says it later on in an easier to understand way. Anyway, so in defining your objective, you must be concerned only with the objective itself. Don't worry about how. Yeah, well, I'll really simplify it. Simplify this whole chapter in a few minutes. To think feelingly on any state impresses it on the subconscious. We already talked about that. Okay, and then he talks about dwelling on difficulties, barriers, or delay. Okay, so this is something you should watch out for. This is bad. Bad. The main idea is impressing the subconscious with the desirable state. Assume the feeling that would be yours had you realized the wish. That's it. That is it. I guess these bad things here, dwelling on difficulties, barriers, and delay, you can use right now as you're watching this video, as you live your life. Recognize when you dwell on difficulties, barriers, and delay, and think that the subconscious is going to manifest that according to your difficulties, or to go according to the feeling of the difficulties and obstacles, as long as it's the most the strongest stronger feeling. So always use I am when you dwell on difficulties, barriers, or delay. This I currently am struggling with this right here, delay. I'm just going to talk about this really quick because you have to trick yourself. You have to deceive your senses, even though you don't see your ideal manifested. If you dwell on the delay, then your subconscious is going to take that feeling with the idea and then manifest it. Okay? So you always have to think, oh, nope. It doesn't matter if it's not here. I am, I have this, and it feels whatever. Okay? Okay, here we go. Okay, so he just rephrases a lot of what he's already said. Okay, and then he says, he talks about subconscious being a woman as opposed to a servant to a master. I don't know who he's preaching to here. The average person isn't aware, as far as I know, of what the ancients conceived the subconscious to be in relation to man. But anyway, he talks about it here, so we're going to talk about it for a little bit. The ancient prophets called, okay. So, St. Paul. So, even though the ancients conceived the subconscious to be a servant or a slave, St. Paul is not ancient, I guess, personified it as a woman. And then he says some Bible verses here. And the subconscious does serve man. Okay, so the subconscious does serve man, but the subconscious has a distinct distaste for compulsion and responds only to persuasion rather than command. He doesn't really go into. I would have loved for him to go over why it has a distinct distaste for compulsion here. This would be interesting to me. I'll keep my eyes open for any kind of mention of this, and why it responds to persuasion rather than command. What quality of the subconscious characterizes it as having a distaste for compulsion or liking persuasion as opposed to compulsion? I don't know, but that's just a question to keep in mind. Okay, then he talks about consciousness being the only one and undivided, but for creation's sake it appears to be two. We talked about this here. I did want to talk about Ephesians here, because he quotes a lot of Ephesians, and in the English translation that I saw, it seemed to be talking about marriage. You guys can look at this on your own and decide for yourself, but that's what I wanted to say this here. This is where I got the original idea to look at the original Greek or Latin or whatever the heck, because there might be something lost in translation. So, talks about the 7 principles, or the second of the 7 principles of Hermes. I don't know. I want it to be really, really clear here. He is basing just some of his teaching for now on one of the Hermetic principles. I would be interested to know what other principles he based his teachings on. I would have to probably do a deep dive into Kabbalah, or I don't know. I don't even know. This is. I would be punching above my weight class here, but I just wanted to say that he specifically talks about the second Hermetic principle, and that he's based his teachings on, which is interesting to me. Okay, next we were talking about nothing comes from without, all things come from within. Okay, so he's saying that the subconscious is within. Okay, so it's not without. We have the subconscious within us. I can only assume that he means within us. So that is an interesting idea here. Now, let's see the Bible verses. What is that? Ah, yes. John 3:27. Okay, so this I thought was a little bit of a stretch, because just looking at the text here, a man can receive nothing unless it is given him from heaven. And then he says the kingdom of heaven is within you. So he's not saying that heaven is giving man anything. He's just saying here, the first idea, man can receive nothing unless heaven gives it to him. And then the kingdom of heaven. So these are two different things. The kingdom of heaven and heaven giving something. It's not explicitly said that the kingdom of heaven gives you something. It says that heaven gives you something. I know I'm splitting hairs here, but I just want to point this out. Or I may be splitting hairs, but he's not really clear in the relation of what heaven is to us as man. When I say man, by the way, I just mean all humans. Okay. We already talked about this. From within, it is impossible for you to see other than the contents of your consciousness. Okay, so basically he's saying here that it's impossible for you to see other than the contents of your consciousness. Okay, next. Objective states bear witness of subconscious impressions. Now, I think I'm talking about... Okay, so this is the main sentence here. Change of impression results in a change of expression. He really likes these kinds of sentences. A change of impression results in a change of expression. Like a change of feeling results in a change of pattern. And I think he said something like that, but he I don't know if he's rewording the same idea. This might be something that he just likes to do, which is cool. Whatever. All right. So we're talking about you express and have only that which you are conscious of being or possessing. That ties in with the idea of the I am. I am. Okay. Conscious of being or possessing. And then the feeling associated with that naturally comes. Okay. Denying the evidence of the senses and appropriating the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the way to the realization of your desire. Okay, now we're talking about denying the evidence of the senses. I said that earlier in this video. Denying the evidence of the senses and appropriating the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the realization of your desire. Mastery of self-control of your thoughts and feelings is your highest achievement. All right, so yeah, highest achievement. But this is again 1944 Neville. This might change. His view on what the highest achievement is might change. Regardless, I have to agree that mastery of self-control of your thoughts and feelings is pretty cool. You get a lot of power if you have control over yourself. It's hard to do. Simple to say, but hard to do. Okay. I don't know if he has any techniques for how to control your feelings and thoughts, but either way, up until that, you use sleep and prayer, and that will be later on. Maybe if I haven't done too poorly in this video, if you guys want me to talk about sleep and prayer, just let me know. Okay, so we are going to summarize, which is probably the most useful part of this video. All right, without further ado. 1. Reality is made from man's consciousness. That's from that first sentence. Reality is of the conditioned consciousness objectified. So that's the main idea here. 2 types of consciousness can be understood to make reality: conscious consciousness and subconscious consciousness. Again, this is what I understand him to mean about what makes up reality. Subconscious makes everything, and the subconscious mind feels to be true. So this is the only way, I talked about this before, that the subconscious can make everything, is by taking that which the conscious mind feels to be true. That's the law of consciousness. Through that law, you can make whatever you want through the control of the ideas and feelings that you have. Feeling is the ascent of the subconscious to the truth of that which is declared to be true. I just took this straight out of the book, and I put this in here because I thought it was important, because it is defining feeling. Okay, there's a lot of discussion on what is feeling and just a lot of gray areas. So that is it. Ascent the subconscious to the truth, that which is declared to be true. You can avoid making undesirable states by controlling your feeling or thinking thoughts that contribute to your happiness. It's okay to voice or express bad feelings. Again, this is the main idea here. This is the idea to which all thoughts that you have should be subject to. Think thoughts that contribute to your happiness. Okay? So, when you voice and express your bad feelings that you might have, don't, do something that'll make you unhappy in the long run. All right? You're doing this, you're voicing and expressing the bad feelings to avoid the disease, okay? All right. Being feelings rule. So, this state of being, any feeling that you have associated with a present tense feeling is a stronger feeling than the feeling of I will be, or I will have this thing, or it will happen. Okay, to get what you want, assume you have it. If you made it up to this video, or I'll probably put a link, but this is the most important part of my video, and what I think is basically the main idea of this entire book. I'm gonna tentatively say right now, to get what you want, assume you have it and feel how it feels. That is it. That is all. It's as simple and as tough to do as assuming you have it, feeling how it feels. Okay? That's how you get what you want. Until you have perfect control of your feelings and ideas, use sleep and prayer. I'm gonna go ahead, I think that's it, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say that if you are completely new to the thought of having perfect control of your feelings and ideas, I'm gonna go ahead and say meditation. Just try it out. Kind of observe, okay? I don't know what kind of meditation it is. When you observe your thoughts, and you don't have to think that you are anything, because I'm actually looking into Ramana Maharshi book Who I Am, his book Who I Am. But if you observe your thoughts, you will be able to keep track of them better. Okay, so that is something that you can try out. I do 20 minutes a day. I just kind of lay down because I have back pain for now, right? Yeah, it has helped. Not I don't have perfect control, but I have better control over my feelings and ideas, and I can keep track and stop myself from doing something silly. Thanks to meditation. Okay. I think that's all. Yep. All right. So, I mean, you can subscribe if you want. I'm mainly putting this video out for me. If you got some value out of it, I guess you can comment or send me a message or whatever. Okay.